found out that through a LLC that Drake owns. Okay. And give me 1 second. Very, if you've never watched an academic stream because you're just on Twitter or wherever, just hating on me constantly, welcome. But with you being here, I also want to be methodical and show you how normally manager and sole member is Aubrey Drake Graham, who lives or had the condo out in Biscayne, right? Bet this is his signature, and that was that. So that's what Frozen Moments LLC is, right? If you ask me, and I keep telling you guys these things, so like most of these companies, like I always tell people, I'm like, yo, Lil Uzi Vert, what's his name, Samir something. I guarantee that Atlantic doesn't have like a contract that says Samir is directly signed to them. Samir is signed to Generation Now, and by the way, he might even have a company that owns or controls all the rights to his music, or sometimes I think this company Drake probably created to probably own the copyrights and stuff like that for him, and then that company is just protecting assets. All right, anyway, not trying to bore you with the legal bullshit, but okay. So now you know what Frozen Moments is. People have seen it pop up here and there, especially when some of these people, when Drake, has he ever really gone inactive? But there's times when, if you ever want to know when an artist is about to drop something, if they do it normally, they'll submit it to the label, and the label at that point does a shit ton of stuff, including sometimes filing copyrights and registering certain things that could be trademarks. Now, people who are usually waiting on someone to drop an album who doesn't drop an album, they usually stalk these things. Hey, let's see if Kendrick registers a trademark or copyright of anything. And that usually means, that's maybe their new album title or whatever the case is, right? So people have seen like this Frozen Moments thing pop up a couple times, and that's why they've tied it to Drake. So it's Drake's company. That's all you need to know, right? Let's keep it simple. So today there was a filing, and it's a filing from Drake, which is actually a petition. Drake has petitioned the court to have them put Universal Music Group and Spotify on notice that they intend to file that Drake and his company, Frozen Moments, intend to file a lawsuit basically claiming that they allowed interference from bots and otherwise for the inflation of streams, obviously during the rap battle, that resulted in damages to perception. Okay? Now, the full lawsuit isn't out yet. Obviously, they haven't filed it, but the petition is out. And this is going to be a very slippery slope. I'll give you my opinion first. I do think, and I'm a huge Drake fan. Y'all do know, number one, the biggest Drake fan. But we got to be very careful here. Because as much as I work with the music industry, I am not a part of the music industry as a part of the label structure. So I could say this. A lot of what the music industry does is like a Ponzi scheme. I've told you this when Nicki Minaj used to claim other artists are botting streams, but that accusation made it seem like all her streams are real and all the other persons, whoever she's competing with, are fake. Now, the reason why I say it's a slippery slope, Spotify and Universal Music Group, they're number one business partners. Number two, here's the thing.
All right, what's going on, chat? It's your boy DJ Grimlock. Welcome to another episode of Stay Woke TV. I thought I was going to sleep, but you know what? I changed my mind. Let's get some work done. Once again, I'm your host, DJ Grimlock. And today we're going to be doing two things. We're going to be looking up the Drake and Kendrick updates that are just coming out. Supposedly some new updates are going out. Drake suing UMG. UMG trying to teach Drake a lesson. Yeah, it sounds very interesting. So I want to break it down. Let's do a recap because I wasn't here to watch the academic stream with you guys. So thank y'all for being here. Once again, I'm your host, Mr. Grimlock himself. And this is Stay Woke TV. Y'all boys stay woke out there. Let's go. Let's get to work, man. Oh, and another thing we're gonna listen to. Supposedly there was a RICO charge in Broward County. We're gonna look that up too. The Wiz the Wizard killer. Remember when Wiz the Wizard got chopped up? Yeah, those killers just got a RICO charge. So we can look up that story too. All right, let's get started. Y'all know me, I hate intro, so let's get to work.
As long as they're busting down that money, it's one of those things where I personally believe neither of them are doing too much to combat streaming or botting in terms of major label artists. Now, granted, if you are not signed to a major label and you put out music through Spotify or one of these other DSP conglomerates and you bot streams, of course they're going to ban you or penalize you. They're incentivized to do it. They have no business dealings with you, right? So why would they overpay for these inflated streams that are fake? Now, here's the thing about when it comes to the music industry. And to make this really a little bit more of a simpler case without getting too deep into it, inflated sales has always been part of the business practice for the music industry. It's always been that. Back in the day, they used to say labels would buy their own CDs. That's when Nielsen, SoundScan would, your first week sales would be not what sold, it would be what shipped. So they would just increase purchase orders and, yo, we need this guy to sell 300,000. Let's just ship 300,000 because of a weird purchase order. That blah, 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 blah. And then let's have some type of scheme to return those whatever items to the store. Later on, we get the number perception. Fans think it's 300,000. They're now. So manipulating the audience has always been part of the game. Always. Radio, most of that game is manipulating the audience. When, it's explicitly illegal for a label to pay. So payola is illegal. So say I'm going to give you $1,000 to play my artist's song. That's illegal because you're using regulated federal airwaves that the FCC monitors. You can't do that. How do they get around it? Yo, I'm going to buy $500,000 of ads on your station because all these stations are ran by ads. We have a Wiz Khalifa album and we have this album dropping. We're also going to give you an interview by them. It would be dope if you could show us some love back. Of course. Your song's getting played every hour on the fucking hour, right? Come on, we're making money. So this whole thing, it's always been, the music game has always been like really a Ponzi scheme, a little bit. Like the major labels realize, and this is why when people like start these smart ideas, yo, I'm going independent, fuck out of here. You can't beat these guys who own 90% of the market share. You can't, okay? Off the catalog market share, actually. It's around 80 to 90% of the streaming market share. But catalog, they own the majority of it. So if they have the ultimate power with TikTok, Spotify, Meta, they bully everybody because if you want music, 3 companies control it. Universal Music Group was the big dog. Then we have Sony Music Group, and then we have Warner. Okay? Now, I hope you guys are getting some understanding. Cool. So my opinion before we get into this, and I have the whole petition here, is that I don't know how to feel about this because if you are a major label artist, and I don't care who you are, I don't care if you're Drake, Lil Nas X, I don't care if you're Kendrick Lamar, I don't care. All of y'all, It's impossible that any artist has, any major label artist, in my opinion, has 0% of bots. Why? It's incentivized that these labels control perception. How do they control perception? Is to by rig the game by inflated views, inflated streams, and inflated everything. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's a point that's outside of Drake, Kendrick, any particular artist. So that's my thing. If you ask me, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, they're in cahoots with UMG, Warner, and Sony to make sure that there will never be a true independent market because they make too much money. Literally suppressing that, funneling. By the way, Spotify even announced some shit that, there's certain things with Spotify when it comes to playlists. They won't be like, they'll tell you the random bullshit. Oh, anybody could get on a playlist. Brother, don't have a label. Like, if you think Universal Music Group will let like some like
they got a monopoly on music,
then being on a label,
that's true.
15 spots on the most coveted playlist, you're out of your fucking mind. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that. So it's kind of all of a, it's a finesse. Anyway,
It's a finesse.
so let's get to it. So this was a petition that was filed today.
Killing them.
We have, and this was filed in
Getting my revenge. Damn,
the
2 more
Supreme
points. I
Court
got
of the state
50.
of New York, where we have essentially Drake's company, Frozen Moments. They're announcing, right? They're announcing that, Spotify, Universal, we're about to sue y'all. We believe that y'all have done certain things or allowed certain things that has now caused damage to me as an artist, and we want you to preserve or to hold these things or give us the data or evidence that we would need to actually file the lawsuit. So let's just read through it. So cool. So it says, in the matter of application of Frozen Moments LLC for an order, whatever, it's a civil blah, 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 UMG and Spotify. Now, very clear in what should be noted, this is not a lawsuit yet. It is not a lawsuit, okay? So Frozen Moments and its attorneys, right? So Drake's company, and by the way, I do want to be honest here, like, just me being 100% honest with y'all. I don't know how they flagged this. I'm pretty sure someone has some type of, civil court flag for Drake's company. I think Drake
I'm trying to get.
this
Get this
company,
free throws. There we go.
and
Yeah.
the lawsuit as a
I needed to hurry up.
petitioner.
I had
He's
to
not.
let him score.
It's his company. And whether his company is expanded and he's listed officers or whatever of his LLC, it doesn't matter. He's the boss. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think he tried to do it under the LLC, but he's suing MMG. Not MMG, UMG. Okay. So, so they're basically saying this is a pre-action disclosure. And by the way, if you guys do want to see all these documents afterwards, they'll be on the academy.blog. For an order granted limited pre-action disclosure from the respondents, UMG and Spotify, directing a preservation of relevant evidence in possession, custody, or control of UMG. Now, that's also very important and very interesting, chat. What that statement alone tells you or should tell me, the biggest artist in the game.
Game over.
Right? Let's
We
say biggest
win.
rap artist, 'cause we don't
We
take
win.
those.
We win.
But let's be honest, right?
We win. We win.
If
we
he
win.
has to sue to get
1-1
the game,
tied up.
it shows you how much or how little actually artists actually know about what the fuck their label does. Because he has some facts, but he needs all the facts to really file his lawsuit, and he got to sue them to get it. So even their biggest artists, they're not like, oh, we're open book, come look at everything. Nah, hell no. Just kind of goes back to it. When you're on a major label, I don't care how well you get compensated. You're just a nice good old slave. Whether you're Drake, Kendrick Lamar, I don't give a fuck if you're the baby, Lil Baby. You could be anybody. Once you see UMG, this is why, as crazy as y'all want to say Kanye is, He don't seem that crazy no more, do he?
Hmm.
He don't be seeming that crazy. Oh yeah, like which by the way, this also makes an interesting parallel. When you hear the likes of Pusha T, Kendrick, or even Drake talking about who signed to who and who signed, you signed to one nigga that signed to one nigga that, y'all all signed to the slave master. Shut up. All y'all shut up. All three of y'all. Shut up. Let's be very honest. We're going to just call a spade a spade. If Universal is on the back of your CD, and yes, Kendrick Lamar GNX is released by Interscope, that's a subsidiary of UMG. Y'all are all slaves. Shut up. We don't want to hear none of y'all talk about, you don't get no brownie points for saying, oh, I sleep next to Master's room. You sleep 5 doors down. None of y'all should be talking like that when y'all have to go hit up old Massa, UMG, to say, what's up with the accountant? What's up? Shut up, all of y'all. And I'm saying it respectfully to Drake, Kendrick, and the rest. Let's be clear. But let's get into it. So it said the nature of the dispute. Said in a memo to the staff reflecting the highlights of 2021, the CEO of UMG, Lucian Grange, remarked on it being harder than ever for artists to break through the noise. 60,000 songs are added to Spotify every day. Spotify is the world's most popular audio streaming subscription service as of the end of the third quarter in 2024. Boasted almost 640 million monthly active users, 250 million subscribers. They pay the music companies, like UMG, for the right to license the songs so they could play them on a streaming and subscription platform. 2023 alone, Spotify paid more than $9 billion to music labels and producers. Hip-hop is one of the most popular genres on Spotify, amounting nearly a quarter of all streams on Spotify Global in 2023. Spotify and UMG have a long-standing much UMG's dominate in fuck with Lucian, especially son. Percent lower. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. However, Drake's team is gonna prove this. So this is where Drake's people are coming to the idea of, and after that time, Lucian Grange basically said enough. Why? Here was the problem. These artists,
Let's go back.
like us,
Okay, there we go.
vinyls, licenses with TikTok, Apple, Meta, all them little swipe up things. I'd be like, oh shit, I'm adding a song to my store. Yeah, they're getting paid. You get what I'm saying? Streaming is essential to UMG current bottom line and its future business strategy. In a report related to the third quarter of 2024, UMG noted a nearly 29% year-over-year decrease in downloads and other digital revenues because the continued format shift towards streaming across the music industry. Their long-term strategy relies upon accelerating the growth of and monetization from the streaming and subscription. In October 2024, UMG unveiled a new slogan, Streaming 2.0. That was last month, people. Which illustrates the importance UMG places on saturating the streaming market. Didn't I tell y'all that, chat? They don't give a fuck. Just keep dropping music. Your new music makes the hot, the old, your new whack music makes the hot music that you dropped when you first came out that got you on go up more. Which, ironically, they own more of that than usually this, right? In 2024, UMG did not rely on chance or even ordinary business practices to break through the noise on Spotify and likely other music platforms. Instead, launched a campaign to manipulate and saturate the streaming services and airwaves with a song, Not Like Us, in order to make that song go viral, including by using bots and pay-to-play agreements. UMG released Not Like Us on May 4th, 2024, pursuant to various contractual rights. UMG, via division Interscope, has exclusive control over the licensing of the song. On information and belief, UMG charged Spotify licensing rates 30% lower than its usual licensing rates for Not Like Us, in exchange for Spotify affirmatively recommended the song to users who are searching for unrelated songs and artists. Now, let me stop it there, people. Let me stop it there. This is going to be big. This is gonna be big. Let me tell you this. I'm like the Joker. I can't wait to see the industry burn. I love it. Though.
Nah, we're gonna get
so I do, you know what I mean? It's a little bit like, but still, we're gonna have fun with this. Check this out. Let me tell you the crazy games that's going on. Number one, shout out to my man Larry Jackson, a guy who's a hero and a villain in some sorts. He's now, what's a new company called? I forgot what it's called. Remember that company you got? Sexy Red Zone. Larry Jackson, Sexy Red. What's the name of that shit? Gamma. Gamma, okay, Gamma, okay. Anyway, very smart guy. One of the guys that was also very instrumental, and even me getting the Spotify contract. Because of some things, you know, I explained it before. Anyway, here's the thing. Let me explain. I'm trying to explain this
the plot thickens.
Info. Why did I bring up Larry Jackson? Larry Jackson gave Drake $20 million for him to drop. I forgot what project it was. It might have been. What was it? My memory's kind of failing me now. What the fuck? He dropped some project on there early, and when he dropped the project early, they gave him $20 million for a week, right? Just drop it on here for a week, and we'll give you $20 million, right? They started doing exclusives. Chance the Rapper dropped his projects exclusively to Apple. People are doing exclusives. And after that time, Lucian Grange basically said, enough. Why? Here was the problem. These artists, they were circumventing the labels. So the labels have deals with all of these companies. None of these deals cite preferential treatment, which means when a song is available to Apple, it's available to Spotify. Okay? UMG pays Drake. They have a contract with Drake. Remember, they're the middle guy. That they've kept themselves in the middle because they own the catalogs. The artists started taking, here's a little 20 million bag, but put your shit over here first. So they started circumventing their labels. The labels don't want to get pissed off at the artists because how you gonna get pissed off at Drake or Kanye? What, Kanye at the time? Like, these are the biggest artists. You're like, wait, when are we gonna get the whole thing that we can put it everywhere? They're like, give me a week. The artists are lit. They're like, $20 million? Fuck out of here. Shit. You know what I mean? Cool. What ended up happening is that Spotify came bitching. Real talk. Spotify's like, hey, yo, you got Apple spending all this goddamn bread. We're all in this licensing deal. We got a deal with y'all like they got a deal. Why do they get the deal? Why do they get a song or an album a week early? Also, here's the thing. If that keeps happening, we're going to lose our subscribers. This is actually fucking up and threatening the deal we have with y'all. So Lucian Grange, the guy who owns UMG, stepped in and said, enough. First of all, we're not getting none of this money from the exclusive shit. It's going straight to the artist, which that's a no-no. You can't have the slaves collecting their own check. That's a fact. You just can't. Can't. You don't pay the slave directly. You pay the master, and he give out the slaves whatever he wants. So that they had to stop it. So Lucian, and I'm not calling Lucian a slave master at all. Fuck with Lucian, especially his son. My guy Elliot, that's my guy. But the point is this, and I'm just talking about major labels and slave masters. They told him, cut that shit out. So they ended all exclusives, right? That was a couple years ago. During this battle, these artists, because timing and all these other aspects, some of the songs, the samples weren't cleared, they wanted to circumvent it to take advantage. They want to circumvent the label structure, which is kind of rigid a little bit, to take advantage of the timing to win a rap battle, right? I'm getting to somewhere here. So when you get Kendrick or Drake who drops a song via their YouTube or their Instagram, Spotify and Apple are not happy. Why the fuck are you dropping music on? They're looking at Meta in terms of Instagram, or they're looking at YouTube in terms of their competitor because YouTube also releases music. Why do they get it early? I thought we were done with this exclusive shit. Keep in mind, for a while, they used to drop music, like during the battle, they were dropping music just straight on, like you couldn't find it on Spotify first, right? Okay. So, this is how I'm, this is me not really guesstimating, but I think I'm right on the money with this. I don't know how they got the info that Spotify did a deal with UMG, but usually, like for example, I know as a fact, Apple Music and Spotify, they're tight that Drake keep dropping shit on Instagram. They don't like it. They don't like that shit. Drop it on Spotify, nigga. They don't want you. They don't want your new song on your fucking Instagram. They did not pay billions of dollars to have the licensing rights for you to drop shit on Instagram. For your biggest artist, UMG's biggest artist, Drake or Kendrick or whoever, to drop it on Instagram. They don't like that shit. Okay? So this is where Drake's people are coming to the idea of, wait. Oh, I forgot this last part. So let me tell you what Spotify and Apple, and let me just say these, let me not make it just Spotify. Historically, after Lucian and everybody came out to say no more exclusives, if an artist drops a song and gives an exclusive to any of the bunch, which means you give it to YouTube, you give it to Apple Music, or if you give it to Spotify, the other companies penalize you, which means, oh, we're not about to give it as much love on the playlist because we're going to show you don't do no more exclusive shit. We're not doing that. All of us need to get it at the same time because when one person get it, everybody goes to them. Drake and his team is saying, though Kendrick dropped the shit on YouTube as an exclusive, there was a window, Spotify still came back around and said, and according to them, in exchange, Spotify recommended the songs to users who were searching for the song for unrelated songs and the artist, and supposedly UMG charged Spotify a rate of 30% lower. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. However Drake's team is going to prove this, this is how I know a lawsuit's definitely coming. You don't find out this info that UMG did a deal with Spotify that not like us, like, hold on, let me just do this real quick.
Hold on, let me listen to this more before I give my opinion.
Spotify.com.
I'm trying to get a comprehension on what's going
Kendrick
on.
Lamar. Right? Okay. Hold on. Sorry. Where's Not Like Us at? Not Like Us. Wait. I'm trying to see the streams. What the fuck? I have to go on the other shit. Sorry. I'm trying to just give you I'm trying to give you a quantity or just a rough estimate of like how much money we're talking about here. Right? Because according to Drake and his team, this is a special deal, right? So Not Like Us is around 1 billion streams, right? It's around 1 billion streams. Now, quick math on usual licensing, whatever, and payouts, right? It's about $4,000 per 1 million streams, okay? In the payouts, right? So when you have 1 billion, that's 1,000 million, right? Times 1,000. Okay. Now, that number is only the number based on a certain rate. Essentially what I'm trying to tell you, okay? Even though I think I probably fucked that up. The point what I'm saying is that they did some very interesting deal that probably got Spotify to pay out less for Not Like Us, right? As long as Kendrick's song got recommended through algorithms. Now, that's a very interesting accusation, and I don't know how Drake's team has that information, but they claim that's going to be, well, they don't claim it. We have to assume it's going to be a part of a lawsuit, right? We got to assume, right? Okay, cool. And by the way, that 4,000 number is usually off because that's for niggas releasing on DistroKid. You know what I mean? DistroKid and TuneCore. Labels have a very special type of. And by the way, that's not what the song is actually grossing and how they cut all the revenue because there's publishing. There's a lot more other shit.
I see. Right? So Drake is mad that UMG
$4 million. It's way more money, right? I would imagine it's tens of millions.
Helping Kendrick out.
And whatever deal they did for Not Like Us, the resulting repercussions is tens of millions of dollars for UMG and Spotify, depending on who got the better of whatever. And UMG might be like, well, just give us a promo. We'll take way millions less. Spotify is like, well, we'll keep millions more. We'll just fuck with the algorithms. According to what Drake's team is saying upon information. We don't know. They don't show any proof yet. Okay. On information and belief that Spotify pays UMG license fees through wires or mail. Okay? All right. UMG directly through Interscope also conspired with and paid currently unknown parties to use bots to artificially inflate the spread of Not Like Us and deceive consumers into believing song was more popular than it was in reality. Bots are software programs designed to mimic human behavior to appear to be real social media accounts. One individual, unknown to the petitioner, revealed publicly on a popular podcast that Mr. Kendrick Lamar's Duckworth label, i.e. Interscope, paid him via third party to use bots to achieve 30 million streams on Spotify in the first days of his release of Not Like Us, with the goal of jumpstarting the song spread and turning it into a crazy hit on the platform. Now, I'll stop right there. I don't know if, I think they might be referring to, I think they are, right? Exposed by okay, so remember when that hacker came on? A hacker came on my show, or not hacker, I might call him hacker, but a social media guy, right? And look, all right, you guys know what video I'm talking about. I don't have to play it. Look like this is a. Why can't I see it?
All right, what's going on? Because we don't have that much time. Okay. How much time we're gonna have?
All right.
Drake is mad at UMG because he feels that they have been helping out Kendrick streams to stream better than Drake on Spotify. So let's go to Flacco so he can kind of give us a rundown.
Drake just recently sued UMG. Now, a lot of people know about the current conflict with Drake and UMG, but what they may not know is that UMG has tried to take down Drake while he was signed to them multiple other times in the past. The first time they tried to take down Drake was 2015, when Drake tried to pull a fast one on Cash Money and UMG. In February of 2015, Drake tried to pull a fast one to get out of the Cash Money deal. He dropped an unannounced album called If You're Reading This It's Too Late. This album was a throwaway, but this album was supposed to be his last contractual obligation to Cash Money. And this was supposed to be Drake's freedom ticket. He was gonna leave Cash Money, make OVO an independent label. Drake had the great finesse already lined up. Give Cash Money and UMG a dummy album. I already got the 2 aces under my sleeve. I got the joint album with Future, and I got Views, the good stuff already tucked away, bruh. So when I'm off the label and I'm independent, I can drop these 2 as an independent label and go crazy and make $1 billion. But Cash Money says, sorry, sir. All right, we're not dumb. We weren't born yesterday, bruh. That's a mixtape. What a Time to Be Alive is not an album, sir. Your contractual obligation isn't over with. But since you playing, we got something for you. Because Drake's plan was to just get this one project out the way and get off Cash Money. But Cash Money and UMG wasn't going to let Drake get away that easily. And because Drake was playing hardball, they decided, okay, we're going to play hardball too. So Drake's own label began to leak information about Drake, such as, yo, did y'all know he got ghostwriters? And that began to circulate around the industry. And then obviously we know how that played out. All right, DJ Drama picked it up. Quentin Miller confessed. Meek Mill got told about it. And then Meek Mill tried to expose Drake.
In July of that year, Meek took to Twitter and called out Drake for allegedly not writing his own rhymes. Based on some now deleted tweets, he said, quote, "Stop comparing me to Drake too. He don't write his own raps. That's why he ain't tweet my album, because we found out." Later, he added that he would have cut Drake's verse on Rico had he known he didn't write it himself, and he apparently thought Drake was dissing him.
My man thought he was getting dissed with the line, "To me, your girl of your dream is really not a challenge," or whatever.
Right.
Said, bro, he's not dissing you.
Meek's tweet sparked a larger conversation about Drizzy getting help writing his rhymes from songwriter Quentin Miller, which was solidified when Hot 97's Funkmaster Flex dropped Quentin's reference track for Drake's 10 Band. But Drizzy wasn't too happy about any of this. A few days later, he took to OVO Radio with a diss track, Charged Up, aimed at Meek and his accusations.
"I did some charity today for the kids."
Initially responded on Twitter, saying Drizzy's bars were, quote, "baby lotion soft," and promised to return fire. But the bullets never came. Drake, however, doubled down with Back to Back.
"Is that a world tour, your girls tour?"
Back to Back made waves. It was even nominated for a Grammy, making it the first hip-hop diss track ever to secure a nomination. Meek responded on Wanna Know with some cover art that featured Drake as a member of the lip-syncing duo Milli Vanilli, and sampling the reference track from his writer Quentin Miller.
"So what that tell me, you in a fan?"
The record labels have a motto. You will not leave the record label unscathed. If you're gonna walk out the door with all the success they gave you, then you're gonna walk out the door with nothing but smut on your name. So even though Drake beat Meek Mill, he won the battle against Meek Mill, Drake still lost the war because the narrative was still out there that he had a ghostwriter. And at the time, that was like sacrilegious in rap. And Drake was being disqualified from a lot of top 5 conversations because people said he had ghostwriters.
The ghostwriting thing is if it is, it is. We know it is, and it took credibility from everything that we heard. We know it is. So it's like now, I just don't know what's real and what's fake.
And so you have to just assume everything's fake. I tell that's where my brain goes. It's
now you listen to everything with a grain of salt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just take it for the song. Like, oh,
that's true.
Good choice of a song, Drake.
It's true.
I love your karaoke. It's amazing. My dude Milli Vanilli the industry for I don't know how long before this got exposed.
It takes a little bit off. It definitely did. It was sad to hear.
Had him right where they want him. He went from being very confident. I won off the label. I won off Cash Money. Let me do my own thing, independent, and really change the game. To, yo, how would this affect my long-term legacy? Can I really survive without a major label in this controversy? Will the ghostwriting rumors ultimately kill my career? Dealing with the insecurity and second guessing yourself, now the labels is playing hardball. Now when Drake is bringing albums, his last contractual album to get off the record deal, they're saying, no, sorry, that's not it. Drake brought to them the joint mixtape or joint album with Future, and they told Drake, sorry, Brad, that's a mixtape. We know what the real album is. We already heard Views, buddy. All right, you not about to get, we already heard Views, buddy. Those not the songs. That's a mixtape. Sorry. You can drop it if you want, but it's not going to count as your last contractual obligation. So now Drake is like, damn, Yo, do I not drop anything? Do I let them shelf me? Drake proceeded with releasing What a Time to Be Alive, but on the album, he dropped a record called 30 for 30, where he explained in candid details what he believed has been happening to him in 2015. Drake says, "Never thought I'd be talking from this perspective, but I'm not really sure what else you expected when the higher ups have all come together as a collective with conspiracies to end my run and send me a message." 40, did you get the message? Going independent was just one reason why Drake wanted to leave, but also Drake was loyal to Lil Wayne. So when he seen that Lil Wayne was being done dirty and had issues with Birdman and Cash Money and UMG, Drake wanted to show his loyalty to Wayne by leaving the label as well. But after Drake dropped What a Time to Be Alive, Lil Wayne and Birdman squashed a beef in January of 2016. They squashed a beef. So after Lil Wayne squashed the beef with Birdman, Lil Wayne was repping Young Money, Cash Money again. So Lil Wayne, Birdman, they came to Drake and said, "Hey, bro, we Cash Money, Young Money for life, yo. Listen, don't leave." Drake bought in, and Drake re-upped. Drake was rewarded handsomely for staying with Cash Money and UMG. They put every resource they had into Drake, and they made sure the next album that Drake dropped, the album sold 1 million copies first week. This right here is a feat that we haven't seen since Drake. Taylor Swift is the only person who can touch these numbers. That's because UMG put every resource possible into making sure that Drake knew that he made the right decision. And Drake went on to drop another album, which was More Life in 2017. Now, after Drake dropped More Life in 2017, UMG came back to Drake and said, "Hey,
All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to take a 15-minute break real quick. Or a 10-minute break.
I'm not sure.
Gotta use the bathroom.
Right? I just want to fill my options. I'm going to drop an album next year. It's going to be Scorpion. I'm going to drop it, and then I'm going to see, where my options are. I'm going to be independent and see where my options are." And UMG said, "Oh, really? You about to walk out the door?" No, Drake said, "Nah. I still may resign, but I just want to just see what my options are." Because Drake was no fool. Drake realized the last time they knew, I was a goner, they made sure to smut my name out. But UMG was no fool either. They realized, Drake is trying to leave. He's trying to leave. He's trying to drop this album and leave. UMG was not having it. And then came, out the blue, Pusha T dropping a record dissing Drake and Wayne out the blue. And that initiated a beef with Pusha T and Drake, because Drake responded to defend himself and Lil Wayne. And during this beef, information that only Drake and people close to Drake knew was somehow leaked.
In May, Pusha T, who has his own side spat with Drake and Cash Money, dissed Drake on the Kanye-produced Infrared, and Drake responded with Duppy Freestyle, but his bars were primarily aimed at Ye.
What do you really think of the nigga that's making your beats?
Pusha T dropped a bombshell with the story of Adidon, with these revealing bars.
You are hiding a child, let that boy come home.
Drake says he recorded a response, but chose not to release it.
And I just listened back to it, and I was like, man, this is not something I ever want to be remembered for.
Drake will blame Kanye West for being a mole and claim that Kanye was the one who leaked the information to Pusha T.
I send him a picture of my son.
Oh my God.
I tell him I'm having trouble with my son's mother. We had a conversation. I shared my...
But in a new interview, Push says Drake's paternity intel came from Drizzy's producer 40's disgruntled musings to a woman he was dating.
With that also came the fact that Drake has a child. With that also came the trip that everybody took to go see the child and bring him gifts and all of this information.
Pusha was slightly telling the truth. It came from Drake's camp, but it didn't come from this random woman that 40 was sleeping with. It came from the label. What we see is a trend here. The minute the label feels like Drake is on his way out, that he's about to leave him high and dry and leave away with all the success they helped build up, they send a lapdog at Drake to go ahead and smut his name out and destroy him before he leaves, because their motto is, you're not about to leave us unscathed with all the success that we build up. Because the label feels like Drake is just the figurehead, but the concept of Drake is something that they built up. is something that's based on their business model, their infrastructure. And if Drake's gonna take all of that with them and enjoy the success of somebody else, they're gonna make sure that doesn't happen. So the label is who fed the information to Pusha T. Pusha T is on Def Jam. Def Jam is under UMG. People at the label knew Drake had a son. That information just came down the pipeline. Fed Pusha T information to destroy Drake. Drake was ultimately forced to admit that yes, he indeed have a son with an ex-corn star in Sophie. And this left a permanent stain on Drake's career. Not only did Drake lose the rap battle viciously, and people didn't know what the future of Drake would be, because this right here was Drake being destroyed. The giant got slayed and put to his knees. And then you also wifed up and had a kid with a corn star, and people like this perfect image of the golden child was over with now. Now Drake has some smut on his name. And people didn't know where Drake would go from here. The label was yet again successful in derailing Drake to retain him, because after Pusha T won the battle, he destroyed Drake. And it was unknown at that particular time if Drake would be able to have a career after that. It was unknown if Drake would still have a successful career. That's how bad Pusha T slayed Drake and brought him to his knees. It was bad for Drake and all Drake fans. It was crazy. So even though Drake will rap on his album Scorpion, yeah, as soon as his album dropped, I'm out with the deal in the house playing D'Angelo, How Does It Feel? Even though he was set on leaving, he couldn't leave. Drake couldn't even imagine the possibility of leaving and being independent while his stock is at the lowest it's ever been. While his stock right now is at a particular point where, fam, we don't know if you are even a relevant artist anymore. That's how bad Pusha T destroyed you. So Drake couldn't leave. So Drake re-upped. But this time around, Drake said, listen, I was going to leave and be independent, but give me my own label situation at CMG. Let OVO be my blueprint. And UMG agreed. UMG gave Drake. Now, Drake always had the OVO situation, but this was a situation where OVO was essentially regarded the same as Cash Money in the eyes of UMG now. So Drake still got the best of both worlds. He was able to be independent, but still signed to the major label. Drake signed a new deal fresh off the Pusha T beef. So Drake didn't necessarily got everything he believed he deserved, so Drake made it known. Drake was on records pretty much dissing Universal every chance he got. Drake would say, classics, I keep scribbling, lights in a Universal building just keep flickering, money just keep coming in, you would think I'm Irish. The way that it stayed doubling, I could feed a country with the tax I pay the government. Saying, yo, he's the one keeping them lights on, bruh. All right, and he'll continue. Who the CEO of Universal? They're mistaken. Because Google's saying Lucian, but that just doesn't make sense. Who filling up the piggy bank? Who bringing home the bacon? This ish don't come on vinyl. I'm still record breaking. Drake saying, bruh, I should be the CEO, bruh. Right? I should be the CEO. Right? And he continues. They underestimated my trajectory, but now they gotta pay that ish direct to me. I send the label bills like the other two women standing next to Bey. That shit was just... So Drake is saying, listen, bro, I'm underpaid, all right? I'm keeping the lights on. I'm the one who's making all the money for Universal. They got to do right by me. So as Drake is doing this, bro, it's apparent that Drake is not content. So Drake will drop CLB, Drake will drop other mixtapes and other tapes under OVO, the imprint. Now, Drake wanted a new deal, though. So Universal and Drake began to negotiate a new deal. Now, while they were negotiating a new deal, there were words that began to go around the industry. This guy called Kendrick Lamar, who had started off as friends with Drake in 2013, and ever since then, they've been beefing back and forth, dissing each other. Well, Kendrick Lamar was telling people that if y'all thought what Pusha T did to Drake was bad, well, wait till I come back from my hiatus. Kendrick Lamar dropped his critically acclaimed album Damn in 2017 and then took a hiatus, about 5 years or so. But in 2021, he was making his rounds because he was scheming about a comeback. He was crafting something to come back with a bang. Now, he wanted to do what he did with the Control verse in 2013, where he essentially dissed the entire industry, and it created a huge buzz for whatever he had going on. This time around, instead of the entire industry, he wanted to diss Drake. And he recorded a Drake diss that he was going to drop in 2021 to gear up excitement for the album. Now, when he was playing people this record, people have heard this record. It's not a secret. It's a record that's absolutely confirmed 100% this record exists. In that record, he was calling Drake like similar things that he called Drake, you know, in their latter beef. He was calling him a pedo, etc., etc. He's sick, he vile. So Kendrick Lamar was going personal. And a lot of people felt this was too much. Yo, folks like, bro, yo, what did Drake do to you? But Kendrick Lamar was telling people, yo, I got the diss track that when it dropped is gonna end Drake. This was the first time in a long time that Drake seemed happy and content at Universal, and he was willing to renegotiate. So Drake and Universal was negotiating the most lucrative record deal in hip-hop history for $500+ million. So when Universal heard that Kendrick Lamar had a diss record calling Drake a pedo and all type of stuff, they gave Kendrick a call and said, yeah, bruh, you not dropping that, bruh. Sorry. Now listen, if he doesn't sign, you can drop it, right? If he doesn't sign, you can drop it and destroy him, because he's not leaving us and having success. It's not happening. But we're not about to give him $500 million, and then you, who's also under the umbrella, you're not about to drop no record calling this guy a pedo that we just gave $500 million to. Not happening. So Kendrick Lamar shelved the record. He shelved it. And when he returned in 2022 with Mr. Morale, he just dropped the album. It was great. But Kendrick Lamar, even though he didn't drop the sinister diss track, the fiery one that was going to end Drake's career according to Kendrick Lamar, Kendrick Lamar was still taking shots at Drake, trying to let the people know, bro, hey, yo, Universal keeps saving this boy. In the record America Has a Problem remix, Kendrick Lamar outright calls out Universal for being fake to Drake and backstabbing him and planning his downfall while trying to save him at the same time. Kendrick says, Universal, don't play possum. Y'all know, y'all been telling us, bro, hey, if this man don't sign, end his career. But now he's signed, you want us to play nice with him? I don't play like that. So Kendrick said, I'm a businessman doing as follows. I'm just doing what y'all told me to do. Truthfully, I'll be lying in my rap song because I always fail to mention I'd slap homie. His career don't come with no life insurance. Hope his day one's fans got some facts on him. Kendrick Lamar was alluding to the nasty accusations that he painted on Drake back in 2022. But the track never came out because Universal was not going to allow Kendrick Lamar to drop a diss track on Drake, who they just gave $500 million to. But you know what happened though? Drake started feeling himself, man. He's up $500 million. He's the biggest artist in the world. But Drake realized quickly, bro, that the $500 million was a slave deal. It was a 360 deal. Because Drake figured out very quickly that the music was not going to be enough to recoup on the $500 million. So Drake figured out, I'm going to have to tour. And not just tour. I'm going to have to tour for 2 years straight. And that's what Drake did. Right? He went on tour for 2 years and grossed $350 million to hopefully recoup faster. So now Drake been dropping music like crazy, been touring like crazy, trying to recoup faster. Now, Drake is close to recouping. So Universal came back to Drake and said, hey, you're close to recouping. Let's re-up. Drake is playing hardball. Drake is asking now for double. He's asking now for $800 million. From 6 to 800 million. And Universal is like, listen, bruh, right? You're asking for more favorable terms. You don't want the 360. We're not giving you no 6 to 800 million, bruh. On those terms, no. Well, Drake said, well, I'm going to just walk and go to a label who's going to give it to me. And Universal said, oh, so you think. Universal got their most vicious dog and sought him out on Drake. So Kendrick Lamar, Metro Boomin, Future, they all came together to take down Drake, and Kendrick Lamar had the venom needed to really poison Drake and shake him at the knees, and that's what he did. And not only did Kendrick Lamar have the poison, but Universal backed that record with everything they have. Universal went ahead and made sure that Not Like Us was the biggest hit ever because they wanted to get back at Drake. And that's why Drake is suing, because Universal has been trying to extort him for the last decade. Because whenever he wants to leave, they back somebody to come out, attack him, make a diss track about him, slander him, and pretty much give him a black mark on his reputation and his career, forcing him to re-sign a record deal because he feels like he can't live without it. This time around, Drake is not going for it. But y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think, man? Do you guys feel like Drake is making a good decision at this point for suing UMG? Or do you feel like Drake should just went away quietly? Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys feel about this, all right? How do you guys feel about Universal scheming on Drake for the last decade? I'm going to see you guys in this video right here, right? If you're still watching, click on this video right here to find out about Drake's first lawsuit against Universal and why I believe it's the end of Drake's career. Click on this video here to find out what I'm talking about. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.
Chicken though, man. Play me some pepper, man.
Alright. But politely eat that chicken.
Oh, shit.
But y'all niggas crazy. Black's giving.
Black giving.
Oh, boy.
We call it Black Giving. I'ma let you know like they have me, I ain't tripping. Cause your girl pussy on the 7 on Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
He gotta mix that shit.
Oh, that nigga done pulled the guitar out on your ass, Lo.
Yeah, that's on Fruit Loop. You ain't done with that one. You started that one that morning. He was like, you know what, I'm feeling funky, baby. Tell you what you working on? I'm just working on something new, baby.
You see the nigga had some little glasses on when he was working.
Let me see. What mood you was in when you played this? That sound like some ice shit. Bitch, you keep playing with me if you want. That one ain't hooked up, is it? Yeah, I know some. You talking about it is, but let him cook. Let him cook. I'm trying to hear through the thing. He playing raw. He just made it this morning.
He ain't got no condom on that motherfucker yet.
That's black enough for me.
Yeah. Another parlay loss.
You lost? What you bet, like 250? Nah, flat. In your head.
I'm letting them work on it. Okay.
Oh, 150.
Yeah, you acting like that, Paul. That's $100 away. That's at 250. No, fly, you tripping.
That $100 make a difference.
Ooh.
150 and 250 a big difference.
For real?
Not probably not.
No, I'll be trying to bet. Where you be betting?
I'll send you some pics, bro. I got a full land parlay for the weekend.
What you be betting on?
Bet boss, you wager. Bet boss, you wager.
Chilling. You slate, nigga? You slate?
I'm just trying to take care of my children.
Blind man go to sleep with an eye open.
But all my niggas steady winning.
That nigga, he was just there. I'm like,
Simp ass niggas kissing while I'm pulling up to the house, dropping straight dick. Hey, I might pull her to the door. I might fuck your hoe. We might do a show and we throwing foes.
That's how you feel?
It's the west side, the best side. I said it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Hey, Jack, really, you a real nigga. Now,
see, I call you bitch on her phone. My first question is anybody home? They're not? Cool. Let's FaceTime so I can see those boobs. I want to see both titties in the camera.
Facts.
Bounce them up and down like you got stamina.
Hey.
Yeah, that's how I'm living.
No cap.
We had to do this one for Thanksgiving. Hey, we kept it on the budget.
No cap.
Real low. I told them keep it under budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why a nigga having magic treasures.
What is
it
that?
tastes like Lucky Charms or whatever.
Yeah.
It's delicious, nutritious. These some well-cooked biscuits. That's what they call them in the UK. But I don't give a fuck about what a nigga might say. Yeah, nigga went to churches.
Yeah.
Had the coupons and it was worth it. Nigga got sponsored by the noodles. And then we got them hot sauce droodles. That
guess
mean
what?
they still in the bottle.
The box. I ain't even get shit because none of it was hot. My fries are cold. And Jack Thriller don't even know I'm throwing up foe.
You put it in faith? I put it in faith. Boy, y'all better stop picking it. That was the last one. That was the last one. Hey, man, y'all.
Man, I'm cold as hell, Chad. I'm so cold. I'm so cold.
Tonight, the major cross-country storm on the move and threatening Thanksgiving travel for millions. The powerful system sweeping across the country from California to Maine. Up to 3 feet of snow in the west, changing over to a wintry mix in the Midwest, and by Thursday hitting the East Coast. Will it be a Thanksgiving washout? Al Roker is here. Also, the major shortage in air traffic control, just as holiday travel is expected to break records. Also tonight, the major breakthrough after more than a year of fighting. President Biden announcing Israel and Hezbollah have agreed to a U.S. brokered ceasefire. When will it take effect? And what does it mean for the war against Hamas in Gaza? President-elect Trump vowing to hike tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China on day one. How those countries are responding and how will it impact the prices you pay?
Boy, Trump ain't playing on day one. Everybody paying more money.
The Biden administration proposing drugs used for weight loss like Ozempic.
Well, we'll see if it works. It's definitely going to be. You can watch the outcome on Stay Woke TV with your boy DJ Krem. So we'll be here.
By Medicare and Medicaid, more than 7 million Americans could benefit. But will the new Trump administration go along with it? The warning if you're flying this holiday season, major airports being targeted by car theft rings. And after the devastation from Hurricane Helene, the band marching on to the biggest Thanksgiving celebration of them all.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening and welcome. Weather, which you can see, and FAA staffing shortages, which you can't see, are complicating and maybe delaying many of your holiday travel plans tonight. With record numbers of people on the move this holiday, it doesn't take much to make things unravel. We've certainly been seeing that in delays linked to shortages of air traffic controllers. The FAA warning for the potential of ground stops. Weather, of course, the big story this holiday. A major system could slow travel in the central U.S. from tomorrow into Thanksgiving. Al Roker will have the forecast in a moment, but first here's Tom Costello.
36 hours before Thanksgiving, and the weather threat is growing. Rain delays on the East Coast and the West, and more on the way. The biggest choke point, Newark airspace, with ground stops and flight delays due to the ongoing shortage of air traffic controllers.
We will use traffic flow management initiatives to deal with any staffing shortages on that particular day in this airspace, and we expect to have some of those shortages.
To address the ongoing shortage, the FAA has been moving control of some Newark airspace to Philly controllers. The FAA continues hiring new controllers, but it'll take years to get fully up to staff. While close calls between planes have dropped 72% this year, the FAA and NTSB are investigating 2 incidents at Boston Logan Monday. An American plane clipping the wing of a Frontier plane and a JetBlue plane under tow clipping a Cape Air flight. No injuries.
So now I have to wait all the way until Wednesday.
United Boeing 737 off your right from lane 17.
Meanwhile, Denver International preparing for 3 inches of snow overnight as 3 feet falls in the mountains. The nation's 3rd busiest airport, handling 250.
The hell are we watching? I just realized that. I'm watching the game on the other screen, my bad. I wanted to watch one thing on here. The Hezbollah. There we go.
Deal to end the fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Andrea Mitchell now with late details on that.
Just hours.
Let's turn to the breaking news from the Middle East. President Biden announcing a ceasefire deal to end the fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Andrea Mitchell now with late details on that.
Just hours after new Israeli strikes against Hezbollah targets in Beirut, the Iranian-backed militia the U.S. designates as a terror group.
Have some good news to report from the Middle East.
President Biden announcing both sides have agreed to a ceasefire.
Let's be clear. Israel did not launch this war. The Lebanese people did not seek that war either.
The latest conflict started a day after the October 7th Hamas attacks, when Hezbollah began firing rockets from Lebanon into Israel. With the deal, some 80,000 Israelis who evacuated from the north can now go home, while Lebanese officials say more than 3,000 of its citizens have been killed, more than 1 million displaced by the Israeli strikes. Israel's prime minister backing the ceasefire, saying it is no longer the same Hezbollah. We have set it back decades. Netanyahu also saying Israel has killed Hezbollah's leader and its top deputies, destroyed most of the group's missiles and rockets, killed thousands of terrorists, and destroyed.
Yeah, it killed like their whole they killed like the whole command structure.
Their tunnels. Netanyahu also saying Israel reserves the right to resume fighting if Hezbollah breaks the ceasefire, and he'll now focus on the threat from Iran, while President Biden is hoping for a deal in Gaza.
People of Gaza have been through hell, and Hamas has refused for months and months to negotiate a good faith ceasefire and a hostage deal. And so now Hamas has a choice to make. Their only way out is to release the hostages, including American citizens.
And Andrea, the ceasefire starts in a few hours, and Biden officials have been briefing President-elect Trump's team, we understand.
That's right, Lester. A U.S. official says they told them a few days ago that this deal was coming together with Israel's approval. President Biden said he's going to push to get the hostages released from Gaza, but U.S. officials say it's not likely to happen before he leaves office. Lester.
Andrea Mitchell in our Washington newsroom. Thanks. Tonight, President-elect Trump is laying the groundwork for the new tariffs he has promised to impose, posting to social media about the added costs he wants on goods from China, Mexico, and Canada. Hallie Jackson has details.
The day after the election, Deer Stag's owner Rick Musket called his shoe factory in China to stockpile whatever they could send before Inauguration Day and before long-promised Trump tariffs kick in.
We would take everything they could get us to ship before Chinese New Year.
That move, maybe just in time, with President-elect Trump now announcing on his first day in office not just a 10% added tariff on China, but also 25% tariffs on anything imported from Mexico and Canada, America's two biggest trading partners. Online, Mr. Trump suggesting it's retaliation for the fentanyl entering the U.S., those countries deflecting blame, and the president-elect referencing migrants coming from Mexico and Canada.
I had a good call with Donald Trump last night again.
It is effed up that that's what's going on. From partner countries, we got to stop that shit. Fentanyl has to be destroyed.
We talked about some of the challenges that we can work on together.
Mr. Trump's proposal could blow up the trade agreement he himself helped negotiate in his first term.
We got it done.
And could be challenged in court. Remember, tariffs are a tax on things other countries send here. And those other countries don't pay the tax directly. It gets passed down to companies instead, and often to you. The U.S. relies on both Canada and Mexico for cars and car parts, from Chevy pickups.
That's not true. See, I don't like when they do that. They just show you, to you, okay, show us how. Because it doesn't. It means a renegotiation. It can mean higher prices. But that depends on if the company finds if the company decides, you know what, we're not going to do this deal. Then the prices are going to go up for shit. Obviously, where else you going to do? That's just what it is. But If there's another company who's like, all right, you don't want to do business, we'll still do business with you, then they'll go out of business if they don't. You understand? I hope I explained it right. No, I didn't really.
Pickups to Chrysler.
Listen. Yeah, I did. Just go back and watch what I said.
Minivans. So the auto industry now bracing for a blow, including in states like Michigan, which Mr. Trump wants.
Tariffs can go up, mean higher prices, but that just depends if there's not another competitor who will do the tariffs and still do business. You can lose customers by waiting around talking about you're not going to pay the tariffs. Niggas, business as usual. America is a big portion of a lot of your business. You're not going to go out of business because tariffs went up. No. You could raise your prices, but raising your prices means somebody else can come and steal those customers. So it's a tricky thing.
Mexico supplies more than half the fruits and veggies coming into the U.S., meaning your grocery bill could rise too. Already, economists predict inflation.
Think about it like this. Walmart could have raised prices during COVID, but it said, no, I'm going to keep prices low to get more business. And it works. Yes, it works. But at the same time, that's a risk too. Well, that's not really a risk if you have pricing power. That's the main thing. Pricing power.
Pick up nearly 1% if these tariffs go into effect. And that's still an if, since Mr. Trump has used the threat of tariffs as a negotiating tactic before. But if he follows through?
We're a small business, and we can't afford to carry all those costs.
The owners of this Washington pet store worry about having to charge their customers more because the shop would pay more for imported harnesses and toys.
There's a point at which the consumer is going to say, you know, this isn't in my family's budget. We can't do this.
Today, one Chinese official warns no one will win a trade war, and the Mexican president's previewing possible retaliatory tariffs if President-elect Trump does make good on his threat. Lester?
Hallie Jackson, thanks. Now to the visit to Texas today by President-elect Trump's new border czar, saying he is preparing to carry through on Trump's plan for mass deportations and warning Democrats who might be vowing to block the deportation effort, don't test us. Gabe Gutierrez now with
God
late
damn.
details.
Today, President-elect Trump's border czar in Texas, saying he's ready to carry out Trump's campaign pledge to secure the border and deport undocumented immigrants, starting with criminals.
Let me be clear. There is going to be a mass deportation because we just finished a mass illegal immigration crisis on the border.
After more than 10...
That's true. He is completely right on what he just said. That what they did was what was going on at the border was highly illegal and purposely. Matter of fact, on this stream, I was there with you guys and I said, are they sending people to the border? Man, Biden was literally telling them, hurry up and come. Hurry up and come. Before the 26th, I'm like, what the hell is the president doing? Yeah, that came back to bite him.
Million illegal border crossings in the last 4 years, Tom Homan says he plans to take the handcuffs off Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE. But a major question is how he'll get the manpower to do it.
Do you believe that local authorities should help enforce federal immigration laws?
Oh, absolutely. I think we have to.
Jeffrey Gaylor is the sheriff of Harford County, Maryland, one of dozens across 21 states that are part of ICE's 287G program, which allows the feds to delegate specialized immigration functions to state and local law enforcement.
This isn't stopping people on the street saying, show me your papers. They're brought in, they're arrested for something that they have committed, an act they've committed against the citizens of our community, and at that point they're held accountable for the actions of being in the country illegally.
One of his deputies showed us how the program is run out of the county jail, where trained corrections officers can look through ICE's database and detain suspects arrested for other crimes for up to 48 hours if ICE wants to pick them up to deport them.
Do you anticipate this program ramping up potentially in this next administration?
I believe so. I believe we're going to be very busy.
The immigration debate exploding in this county.
I was angry. I was actually very angry.
Where Patty Morin's 37-year-old daughter Rachel, a mother of 5, was murdered last year, police say by an undocumented immigrant who was released into the U.S.
And I want people to be protected. That's all. I don't want any more life lost.
Still, migrant advocates say the 287G program gives local police an unlawful excuse to help deport people.
This hurts those families. This leads to worse public safety outcomes. It erodes a sense of trust in communities and hurts the economy.
Does this amount to racial profiling?
No, not at all. Again, it's everybody is screened.
Some Democrats now vowing to resist Trump's deportation plan.
We are not going to cooperate in any way in that effort.
Denver's mayor threatened.
So something's going on. It is something deeper. I think we're there's a real life deep. I ain't gonna lie, there is one. We all know that. But it's not only one deep state actually. It's a couple of them. It's more like 4.
Local police at the county line to block federal immigration officers. Then he backtracked.
We have no plan to do that. And
Groups, we really gangs, whatever you want to call them. Same thing.
Hope that we don't ever have to do that.
Trump's new borders are with this response tonight.
Don't test us. The nation wants a safe country.
3 Trump allies tell NBC News the president-elect is expected to sign up to 5 executive orders aimed at dealing with immigration as soon as he's sworn in. Lester?
Gabe Gutierrez at the White House. Thanks. In 60 seconds, how those popular drugs used for weight loss could become a whole lot more affordable for millions of people. It's a potential game changer for millions struggling with weight loss. The Biden administration proposing a rule change that could lead to expensive in-demand drugs like Ozempic being covered by Medicare and Medicaid. Stephanie Gosk explains.
Tonight, a proposal that could dramatically change the battle against obesity. The Biden administration looking to expand Medicaid and Medicare coverage to include weight loss medications.
How big a deal is this potentially for your patients?
Oh my goodness, this would be wonderful.
For now, Medicaid and Medicare only cover the popular drugs, including Ozempic, if patients are diabetic or have certain obesity-related conditions. People struggling with obesity alone are forced to pay out of pocket at roughly $1,000 a month. Dr. Lori DiMattia is an obesity specialist.
It's heartbreaking to have one specific treatment option be so effective and yet so expensive. It keeps it out of reach for many, many people.
The HHS says 7.4 million beneficiaries would qualify at a cost of $36 billion over the next decade. But there are obstacles. The Congressional Budget Office recently reported that a plan like this would cost billions more to Medicare than the administration projects. There is also a mandatory 60-day public comment period before enacting a new rule, leaving the ultimate decision up to the next administration. President-elect Trump's choice to run Medicare and Medicaid, Dr. Mehmet Oz, has publicly supported the use of weight loss drugs. But Robert Kennedy Jr., Mr. Trump's pick to head HHS, has argued lifestyle changes are the key to tackling obesity.
They're counting on selling it to Americans because we're so stupid and so addicted to drugs.
Dr. DiMattia recommends a combination of lifestyle changes and medication.
There's people who don't believe or agree that that is a disease, and yet it impacts over 150 other different illnesses.
What's interesting here, Lester, is that private insurers often follow Medicare. So if this rule is enacted, it could mean many more millions of Americans could suddenly get coverage for these medications.
Much bigger impact.
That's
All right.
right.
Stephanie, thanks much. Coming up, if you're parking your car at the airport this holiday, we've got a warning you'll want to hear about next. We're back now with a consumer alert for anyone who's flying this holiday season and parking a car. Authorities warning of rings of car thieves on the prowl at major airports across the country. Emily Aketa has what travelers need to know.
Adding to the stress of holiday travel, tonight new warnings over thieves targeting cars parked at airports across the country. At the world's busiest airport, more than 300 cars have been stolen this year, according to Atlanta police, 3 times as many as last year.
It is frustrating. We're not the only airport that is experiencing this increase in auto thefts. We are taking steps to prevent this.
There is something very off.
It happened to Atlanta resident Wes Clark. When he was traveling overseas last month, his BMW was taken.
I parked intentionally right by a camera, so I was super surprised when the car was gone.
In Texas, police say they recently arrested the leader of a Cuban auto theft group that targets airports in multiple states, accused of stealing nearly $5 million worth of cars from Dallas-Fort Worth alone, using technology to reprogram key fobs, according to court documents.
If they see something, they need to say something.
Greg Erie oversees security at major airports in the New York City area and says auto theft has progressively become an organized crime issue nationwide.
They're doing it for the increasingly high resale value on these vehicles and the fact that they can get them out of the country and sell them overseas.
As tens of thousands park at airport lots, agencies like Port Authority now ramping up security, increasing police patrols, and embracing technology like license plate readers.
So what can you do to protect your car? Experts say make sure there are no valuables in sight. And on top of locking your vehicle, consider additional security measures like a tracking system or a steering wheel lock to help drive thieves away.